Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? So I want to talk about what's next for Errol the Truth Spence Jr. We just witnessed a legendary performance by Terrence Crawford. Totally outclassed and dominated Errol Spence in what was supposed to be the absolute best matchup that the sport of boxing had to offer. And on paper, it definitely was. The undisputed championship for the first four-belt era undisputed welterweight champion of all time. And you had two great fighters, two phenomenal fighters meeting together for the first time after 5 years of build-up and anticipation. And Terrence Crawford showed that he was by far the better fighter in this matchup. But that doesn't take away from the accomplishments of Errol the Truth Spence Jr., the fighters that he beat, the performances that he's put on over the course of his career, and the type of warrior that he is. And I want to talk about what's next for him, taking in consideration the loss that he just took and the way he took that loss. It was a very, a very tough loss for Errol Spence. Took a lot of punishment in that fight. Terrence Crawford proved that he was better than Errol Spence in every way. He put on just a flawless performance. There really wasn't anything that Errol Spence presented to Terrence Crawford that made him have to make an adjustment or made him have to go into his bag of tricks or even switch stances. Made him go to another level. Terrence Crawford was in so much control in that fight that he was in cruise control. He was just going the course. Calm, cool, collected, steady, popping his jab, punching in between Errol Spence's shots. Phenomenal counter punching. Hand speed was on display. Timing, everything was just on display. And Errol Spence nor Derrick James had an answer. Bo Mack was on his shit. Got to give him kudos and flowers for that. And, Errol Spence taking a loss like that, being a true warrior, not quitting, had every opportunity in that fight to quit, was knocked down for the first time in his career, a total of 3 knockdowns. Every time he got up, the ref asked him, "You want to continue?" Face bloody, eyes swole up, lips swole up, and he kept getting up, kept continuing and wanting to fight. Showed his true warrior spirit, and went out on his shield. The fight was stopped on his feet. I actually believe that Terrence Crawford showed mercy. I actually believe that Terrence Crawford carried Errol Spence and was patient because he could have really went in the dog mode and ended that shit round 4, round 5. But you could tell that Terrence Crawford, he wasn't going to get overzealous and he was just patient and put on a great show. So kudos to him. I think it's a legendary performance. It's definitely up there with the greats. I think you got to put it top 5 as far as just legendary performances when you have two great fighters meet. Just top performances. It might have not been a top 5 fight as far as competitiveness and action packed from both sides, but as far as a landslide performance similar to what Floyd Mayweather did versus Canelo Alvarez, that's one of my all-time. I think that's my all-time Floyd Mayweather performance. This right here has to be Terrence Crawford's absolute best performance, and you got to put it up there with the greats as far as great fighters having immaculate performances versus elite level competition. So Terrence Crawford proved that he's everything that we all thought he was and even more. But Errol the Truth Spence Jr., fellow Dallas Texan, my guy. Great fighter, man. Great fighter. What's next for him? 33 years old. Been through a lot in his career, inside and outside the ring. I think for me, he said that he want the rematch. That's just the warrior spirit inside of him talking. That's just the dog inside of him talking. He said he want the rematch. It's contractually he's entitled to that. Me personally, I don't see a need for a rematch. I just think we know. That's why we had to have this fight, so we can see who the best is. And I think now we know who the best fighter is. And it's funny because all of the things that I said that was going to happen actually did happen, but it was just on the other side. I said that Terrence Crawford, in order to beat Errol Spence, he needed to hurt him. And if he hurt him, I told y'all that Terrence Crawford is the best finisher in the sport. He was going to stop him. That's exactly what happened. I thought it would be a dominant performance from Errol Spence. It turned out to be a dominant performance with Terrence Crawford. I said that Terrence Crawford wouldn't be the same after this fight. Errol Spence might not be the same after this fight. It's one thing to take a loss, but when you get stopped in that type of fashion, I think it takes something away from you. And with Errol Spence, considering that, I don't think a rematch would make sense. But again, he's entitled to that, and him being the warrior that he is, if he chooses to go that route, he got my respect and my support, and I'm going to continue to support that brother in whatever he decides to do. I think maybe a Keith Thurman fight will be something that you can do. You can still make money off that fight. It's a rivalry. Bring him up to 154. Y'all do that. Maybe you go to 154, you take a light touch. Maybe he takes some time off. There's different options for Errol Spence. In my opinion, I think he should take of course, take some time off, but inactivity has been a common theme for Errol Spence. So if you go continue fighting, how much time do you really want to take off? He wants to get back in the ring by the end of the year. He mentioned December. I'm not mad at that if he's going to continue on. I would like to see him come back and take a light touch and then maybe bring up, do a Keith Thurman fight. You know what I'm saying? Get a fan something that they've been wanting to see. This will get the fans talking again and get them back interested in watching you fight, because even though people, after taking an L like that to Terrence Crawford, people will give Keith Thurman more of a chance. I still think Errol Spence is better than Keith Thurman. I think he would be able to dominate Keith Thurman, but that's still a fight. Even before this fight, I said that's something that I would want to see. Even with Errol Spence saying he don't want to fight Keith Thurman because Keith Thurman ducked him for so long, I still want to see that fight. But I want to know what y'all think is next for Errol Spence. What would you want to see from Errol Spence next? Do you think he should go the route of doing a rematch? Do you think he should take a light touch? Do you think he should go directly to a guy like Keith Thurman after? Errol Spence, the man say he don't take no tune-ups, and he stuck by that. You know what I'm saying? He stuck by that. But no matter what Errol Spence does, I just want to say that I will continue to support Errol Spence. That's my guy. Rooted for him through and through. Even though I knew what this fight meant. I knew the level of competition that Terrence Crawford was going to bring to the table. I knew the level of skill and ability that he possessed. But I go with my guy. You know what I'm saying? And I'll continue to support Errol Spence. I'll continue to support Terrence Crawford. These are two of my favorite fighters. And I'm excited to see what's next for Terrence Crawford and see if he can continue on his legacy, doing great things, putting on legendary performances like he did on this past Saturday. And I want to see Errol Spence bounce back. I want to see him, come back and, be great again. Go out there and put on fight a good fighter or even a light touch, get back on your feet, regain that confidence. And maybe then, take another big fight, man, and show the people that you still got that ability that made your name so popular and put you in the lights with all of the other great fighters, made you a top 5 pound for pound fighter I still think Errol Spence got that ability. I think it's more of a mental thing now. When you take a loss like that, it could take a lot out of you mentally and physically. So y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Again, Errol Spence, keep doing your thing, bro. You a great fighter, a great champion, a great warrior. A lot of motherfuckers would have quit in your situation. A lot of motherfuckers would have took tune-ups in your situation. After that car accident, a lot of motherfuckers would have just laid it down. You know what I'm saying? But you stuck to your word and you did everything that you said you was gonna do in terms of collecting these belts and then meeting up with Terrence Crawford, attempting to take his shit too. You did that, brother. You did that. So much respect, much love. You know what I'm saying? I'm still rooting for Errol Spence. You still my guy. You dig what I'm saying, man? But y'all let me know what y'all think. Contender Regime Boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.